es una historia de cómo las mujeres VIH-Positivo de Malaui se organizaron para exigir acceso a medicamentos y tratamientos de calidad en el pico de la pandemia del VIH-SIDA, y después de cómo utilizaron su poder colectivo para enfrentar una segunda pandemia, el COVID-19. Esta es una historia de cómo las mujeres han llevado la lucha por sus propios cuerpos hacia la esfera política y han ganado. Esta es una historia de innumerables adversidades. Esta es una historia de esperanza. El movimiento Nuestros cuerpos, nuestras vidas emergió en Malaui a partir de una pandemia global. Al principio del 2000, la organización feminista de apoyo a movimientos de mujeres asociadas por lo justo, JAS, organizó a grupos de mujeres malauis para hablar de sus experiencias viviendo con el VIH-SIDA. Shireen Essof, la directora ejecutiva de JAS y quien ha acompañado a Nuestros cuerpos, nuestras vidas desde sus inicios, describe los orígenes del movimiento.
Through a number of processes, including, deep consultations with a range of different partners and allies, we ended up in Malawi working with a group of about, at that stage, it was maybe 25 community-based women leaders, largely coming from rural communities, but who were leaders in their own right within those communities, in order to begin to start thinking, about the meaning of living in a woman's body, about the meaning of living with HIV, about the meaning of, really reconfiguring what it means to matter as a woman in that body, and what it means to recognize that there are other women who are living similar stories, and that's not an accident, that there is a real structural system that is translating into women who are living with HIV being understood as being part of the walking dead.
Las mujeres se reunieron y comenzaron a hablar sobre sus cuerpos. El gobierno de Malaui estaba distribuyendo antirretrovirales para el VIH y SIDA, conocido como ARVS, que causan deformidades en los cuerpos de las mujeres, a pesar de que existían medicamentos mejores.
In Malawi, people were still being given these particular ARVs, causing incredible impacts in terms of the body. And so the rallying call, which birthed the Our Bodies, Our Lives movement, was really around access to quality ARVs. Many women at that time, sort of spoke vocally about how the ARV regimen that they had been given was actually poisonous, that it was poisoning their bodies.
Para el 2012, el movimiento Nuestros cuerpos, nuestras vidas, o VOL por sus siglas en inglés, había formado grupos en todas partes del país que exigían medicación de calidad y luchaban contra la violencia y desarrollando alternativas económicas. Forjaron alianzas estratégicas y construyeron un trabajo efectivo de incidencia, por lo cual ganaron acceso a mejores servicios de salud y mejores medicamentos, así como abordaron otras necesidades básicas y objetivos, como el acceso territorial. También comenzaron a soñar con la autosuficiencia y con transformar las relaciones de poder. Estos sueños se convirtieron en estrategias y posteriormente en logros. Fue entonces, en 2020, que llegó el COVID-19.
I think it was really difficult for the groups or for the women to adapt to COVID. I think it really took time, and I think we really had a lot of problems and issues, because we never expected that we would be in a pandemic, which just came abruptly, whereby no one was really ready for it. Sometimes I think when pandemics are coming, we are told other people, they say about it maybe before coming, but this one, it just came, and then it was a shock for everyone. A huge number of women that we are working with living with HIV. I think they comprised almost 80% of the membership that we have. Yeah, so when they were visiting hospitals, the problem was it was a must or a policy to say if you're going anywhere, you have to put on a mask. Whether you're going to a market, you're just moving out of your house, anywhere, it was a must to put on a mask. So if women go, if it's their time to collect medication or if they're just sick, if they don't have a mask, they were not attended to. So that was a big issue, and it was a big problem, which also caused a lot of havoc in women's bodies and lives. So it was really something that was really hard for us, and adapting to it really took time. And our organizing was a bit slowed down because of COVID. And I think it took time for us to really start now working on how we can do things better, because we now understood that COVID will be with us for a longer time. Because at first we thought that maybe it will just be a month or 2 months, then it will go. But we understood and said, okay, so this is staying with us, so we have to put in some strategies. So that's where now we started sitting down in our own hubs to say what else, how can we make sure that we adapt to this, and how can we work now? What styles should we put in place to make sure that we are still organizing, we are still building our movement and transforming the powers that are infringing on our rights.
Sibongile Chibwe Singini es líder y fundadora del movimiento Obol, del distrito de Masimba del norte de Malaui. Ella ahora trabaja fuera del Lilongwe, como coordinadora de Malawi en Asociadas por lo Justo, Jazz. Viaja constantemente para visitar los grupos en todos los distritos. Miriam Muntali, una organizadora nacional de Obol, recuerda su primera reacción al COVID-19.
When COVID struck, what came to my mind was a lot of fear, because there were a lot of myths that were surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic. Then I thought of my life. I thought of my mother, who is old and also sick. Then I thought of the Malawi nation. There were some other restrictions. And that time I was just staying at home. So because of that, I had a lot of unanswered questions in mind. But when it came to organizing, I thought of my fellow women to say, how are we going to survive? How are we going to get the art? And because if we don't do it and just stay idle, who's going to do it? So when SIBO organized some meeting in the regions, because we have the regions, central, southern, and then northern region, WhatsApp groups, SIBO thought for new innovative ways whereby we were able to discuss the ways on how are we going to cope in this situation. What are some of the issues that we are facing? So through those discussions, it was a relief to me, because women were able to open up and we are able to share different experiences from our districts and regions. And so because of that, we were also able to find some solutions that led to bringing hope.
El COVID-19 amenazó con destruir los logros obtenidos con tanto esfuerzo de los grupos de Nuestros Cuerpos, Nuestras Vidas.
Communities that were heavily impacted by HIV, I think, learned to think in terms of what is going to make us safer rather than what is going to make us safe. And that meant that you constantly had to make choices that allowed people to continue with some essential activities to life while minimizing risk. I say that because I think in the very, very early days of the COVID pandemic, there were interventions, including issues of social distancing, physical distancing, that in some contexts were just not possible because of how it is that our society is organized, because of how it is that money, that class and race right, operates. And so I think there was something about that very, very early on was something that was very, very upfront and center in terms of how it is that we think about harm reduction, and not necessarily risk elimination, which I think is important.
Verónica Banda, del distrito Michinji en Malaui Central, agrega a través de un intérprete.
People struggled to find food because most of the people here in Malawi, we do work. It's hand to mouth. We work, then we buy food for that day. So there were no piece work for women, because a lot of women go out and they do work in homes as maids and all that. So a lot of people, they changed a lot of mates. They said, with this COVID, we can't employ you. Please go and wait until the lockdown is done. So that also really contributed to poverty, and for them even to go to find food, or even to go to the market, or even to go to the hospital, they needed money, because all the transportation was also high because of the measures that were given that time, to say maybe on one chair you can just sit two people. So the cost was for you to pay for two other people that were not on that chair. Yeah, so that also caused a lot of havoc to women. Even schools were closed. So as a woman, you don't have anywhere to go and buy food. You don't have anywhere to go and sell your products that you have had maybe after your harvest.
Pero las mujeres de Obol habían descubierto su propio poder individual y colectivo al organizarse para la prevención y el tratamiento del VIH-SIDA, pues tuvieron que forjar alianzas con sectores poderosos. Supieron cómo apelar a los mandos que tomaban las decisiones y cómo expresar sus demandas. Las mujeres de Obol tomaron lo que habían aprendido de cómo construir un movimiento por y para las mujeres, viviendo con VIH-SIDA, y lo aplicaron a la nueva pandemia. Juntas decidieron que necesitaban una respuesta al COVID que se enfocara en la necesidad más básica del cuerpo, la comida.
Having a garden is core because our staple food in Malawi is maize. So because of that, the gardens are essential to our lives because that's the only way we can preserve food. Yeah, so currently, as OBO, we are encouraging each other through meetings, the importance of having food gardens, come rain, come sunshine, come any situation, and also finding new ways of adapting and learning on how best we can do that. And also taking from that, just also trained women in group dynamics, soil fertility and organic manure making.
Al hacerse familia y crear huertos comunitarios, las mujeres contaban con un contrato de seguro contra el hambre. A través de la producción de abono orgánico, pudieron reducir su dependencia de los mercados, fertilizar sus propios huertos e incluso iniciar la venta de abono. Entonces, en febrero del 2022, Obol sufrió otro retroceso. El ciclón Ana arrasó Malawi, dejando muerte y destrucción en su camino.
So I think it was as if COVID was not enough. Then, boom, another disaster. Yeah, so we were really affected by Cyclone Ana and Tumaco, which made landfall in the southern region and part of central region and also northern region. These winds and also the water ripped off roofs of homes of our members and other people. It uprooted trees, washed away crops, bridges were washed away, roads, and it also brought down power lines in our country. So we're in blackout for most of the days, I think, during that month. So it was really hectic. We couldn't really work. Water was a problem. People couldn't travel from one district to another district. Our fellow women were homeless. Personal property was not spared, it was damaged. You can imagine one woman who lost close to 60 cows. And if we talk of cows in Malawi, that is big business, and it means that you have money. You can depend on that for your family for the whole of your life. So imagine the rains, the floods, carrying all what you had, the goats, the house, not leaving anything.
Los huertos fueron arrasados en muchas áreas. Los pequeños negocios de ahorros y préstamos tenían poco capital frente a las necesidades inmediatas. Cientos de miembros se quedaron, como dice Verónica, sin casa y sin esperanza. Muchas hacinadas en campos, separadas de sus familias. Los hombres se fueron a vivir con otras esposas, abandonando a sus mujeres e hijos.
When it came to food gardens, because of the cyclones, most of the food gardens were washed away, leaving the women with nothing. The herb gardens were washed away. Their own individual gardens were also washed away. As a result, the dreams that women had just went like that. So because of that, women felt it's something that was hopeless for them to do again.
Pero sí lo hicieron de nuevo. Sembraron nuevos huertos e iniciaron nuevos proyectos, incluyendo la siembra de árboles para frenar la erosión. Dorothy Mituwana, originaria de la región sur que sufrió mayores daños, menciona que otra de las maneras en las que el movimiento se recuperó de la tormenta fue el proyecto de criar y regalar entre ellas cabras. Posterior a la devastación de las tormentas, las mujeres de Obol tuvieron que buscar información y aliados en otro ámbito que afectaba sus vidas drásticamente: el cambio climático.
We also discussed on this was that we should really start connecting with those organizations that are doing work in climate change environment, so that we should also have knowledge on how can we prepare ourselves to these disasters before they come. Yeah, so this is what we are doing. We have started arranging meetings with them. We want to learn more from them, and then if they have any officers in these districts, they will be also meeting with the OBO members to teach them on how prepared they can be for any disaster that may come.
El movimiento Nuestros cuerpos, nuestras vidas de Malaui ahora tiene 30 grupos en el país. Con sus miembros ya vacunadas, tienen reuniones presenciales de nuevo. Les preguntamos, con tantos obstáculos, ¿qué las motiva a seguir adelante?
In the global movement, we are empowered and inspired. Like in my case, the skills that I've acquired right now, because I was such a kind of a person who was not even able to stand in the front of people, to speak and share something else. I was just like idle. Even being able to log into Zoom like this, it was something that was very difficult to me. But because of Oba and the leadership of Sibo, she's like, you do it. So because of that, I'm motivated, I'm able to do it. And currently I'm doing it like you are seeing me right now. So because of that, even in other platforms, when even she's not there, we are able to do the work. So that's the leadership that motivates me and inspires me. In my dream, I've always admired to have different skills. And I believe every day we learn from each other. So as we learn, we also grow. So my intention and my inspiration in my life is to learn and adapt more from the women that we work with, the communities that we live in, the leadership that we have, and the nation at large. And so because of that dream, with the together we can achieve it, because there is nothing for us without us.
I'm an activist. I think I always say that I was born an activist, because right now when I think of what I was doing back, I would say, okay, so I was just doing this for the sake of it. I didn't know that this is activism. But now, since I've learned, so this is activism. Okay, I didn't know. Yeah, so I think the passion that I have the experiences that I've gone through, and also the experiences that I learned from my fellow women when we meet. It really motivates me. The other thing that really motivates me are the dreams that women are dreaming of having. So one thing that we also do in our training is to make sure that after we raise the consciousness of women, women should have dreams. Women should think of who they want to be maybe in 5 years. What do they want to have? Maybe we are not just a movement that is there just to maybe do things as how others are doing, but we are here to change lives. We are here to transform power.
My message to women and girls all over the world: we are all women. We face same challenges. We have our leaders who are committed to save us, but they are not. We have good policies, but they're not protecting women and girls' rights. So let's wake up, stand up, speak out, and be able to be in decision-making where they are. Women also should be there. Because if we are not there, our concerns, our issues will not be done. So that by the end of the day, women and girls live a dignified life. Nothing for us without us. So women, let's wake up. Our bodies, our lives.